Nation. Do you want to talk about your culture? Introducing the online web TV, Afrique Today. Fogham, where you can watch us live at the same time on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and using the Afrique Today app. Download our app today for Android or Apple. Promote your business today. For more information, go to www.afriquetoday.com. Afrique Today, the best of digital TV.
Hello, and happy Friday. Sorry if we had a little technical difficulties earlier. I hope for all our audience are there still waiting for us to come on because we have a great show for you tonight. I want to welcome you. I am your host, Dr. Yvette Butler-Yaboa, with my co-host. My co-host, Invisible Man, there. I know he's there. Well, my co-host, Invisible Man, is here too, so we will hopefully be connecting all of us together. I want to welcome you to the voice of AAU, so the voice of American Africans United. And as we know, AAU is a nonprofit community-based organization, and our mission is to bring the ideas of people from the African diaspora who have a common interest, connected by citizenship, culture, and ancestry, so that we can build strong economical, political, and social communities. And of course, reconnect to our motherland. So today, without further ado, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. And we're really excited because, there's really not a lot for us as where we can tell our stories and have the truth told. So if you haven't heard about our Black truth, you will today. I'm really excited to have one of the co-founders of Our Black Truth with us today. It was founded by 2 unbelievable young men, one Michael Thompson and the other Eric Thompson. So usually we stop with the video, but today we're going to jump right into it because I want Mr. Thompson to tell you a little bit about what they're doing, and really about what Our Black Truth is about. Because right now in this country, the way things are going, we need to truly have our Black truth. And we need to have these young men at the table telling our stories. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Eric Thompson and Michael Thompson, the brothers who have founded Ashe, which is also that called from Our Black Truth.
Hello, how you doing? Can you hear me?
How are you today? Yes, I can hear you clearly now. It's so good to see you. Sorry about the technical difficulties a little bit earlier, but very, very good to see you. And thank you so much for this short notice to come on to, because we want to know all about Our Black Truth. And first of all, could you tell us a little about yourself and tell us who you are, what you do, and actually what is Our Black Truth?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. And Our Black Truth was a creation of my brother and myself, but mainly it was my brother's creation, Michael Thompson. Michael has worked for lots of different Fortune 500 companies, AT&T, Cisco, Windstar. At Verizon, he was a vice president of video services and was the first person to get attention from all of the major studios. This was before iTunes, this was before Netflix. He already had his finger on the pulse of what was going to be the future. And they made a not so good bet not listening to him, because if you look at how things turned out now with streaming, he was absolutely correct. And this was pre-streaming. So with Our Black Truth, Michael told me that he wanted to build a platform that was going to serve our people. Lots of people don't know that when you go onto other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media platform, sometimes a person can get their post removed, blocked, or their content blocked because you don't fit in with what their guidelines are. And sometimes it's just simply people expressing different things that pertains to our people and our culture. So he felt as though that was not right. So he wanted to create a place where we could express ourselves and talk about issues that affect our community.
Well, thank you, thank you. Now, you are one of the co-founders of My Black Truth too, as well, aren't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just that Michael actually brought that concept to me and said, "Okay, we're going to build this just like the other things that we're working on." And it was him that actually took the initial lead, and then I just fell in with him and started helping him to actually build it. But to be perfectly honest with you, it was his brainchild to create this. I just helped him with it and helped him build his vision into what it currently is.
So tell me, what actually is Our Black Truth? What is it?
Our Black Truth is a social media platform. It's the first Black social media platform where you can get on here and you can discuss issues that affect our communities and talk about Black culture. And it's not just Black people that were African American descendants, but any Black people throughout the world can use this platform to discuss our issues, because we generally can't on other platforms. And also we're creating a ecosystem that I'm kind of in charge of, creating a financial ecosystem so that our people can make money. So let's just say, in layman's term, it's the equal to Facebook.
Oh, okay, well, that's great then. Now, but tell me, why do we need our own social media platform? I mean, what's the purpose of us having our own social media?
Oh, it's because if someone that owns a company and you're signing on to their company, and if they don't like your view or what you say, they can just simply take it down. And that's been happening. So the reason that we created this is so that that won't happen. Any information that needs to be shared or taught about our people will be on our platform, and no one can stop it.
Now, I've actually joined Our Black Truth, and I am really excited about all the educational resources that it has on there for us. And I mean, it's astounding how much information it has there. So, and can you tell us, are you really the largest group of social media platformers, users in the country, or?
Absolutely, for this type of social media, yes. Now, you have other social media sites that will allow people to post videos with fighting and twerking and all of this other stuff that's demeaning to our community. But Michael, part of his vision was to have it be a social media platform where we do not allow people to speak badly about our women, about our men, to badmouth our community or post anything that's foolish. This is a site where, of course, on the social media side, you can have fun, you can post memes, you can post general information, but we also have a video archive that Michael has been building that has a lot of history about African Americans and about Africa, and different videos that you may not find elsewhere. And he has a very careful process of vetting this information to make sure that it's accurate and check each source. So it's going to be a database that can be used by individuals or by educational institutions.
Now, I want to ask, now, do you see a true positive issues? Do we see positive issues surrounding the Black experience on present media platforms? Do we see that at all? And will we see that here?
Well, I would say that for most current social media platforms, they really don't have an interest in how we are portrayed to the entire world. The more foolish, the better. It's funny because they never remove foolish videos. If you look like a fool, they'll leave that one. But if you talk about our people working as one and getting educated and starting businesses and doing other things, sometimes you'll find content like that blocked. Not necessarily that it's always from the company, but other users may see it and say, hey, I personally don't like what they're doing, so I'm going to click this button so that I can have their video removed so that the company will have to take a look at it. But in the meantime, it's down. That's not going to happen on our site.
Now, you said it's not happening on your site. Now, how are you going to filter through making sure there's positive messages on the back end? How does it all work? And how are you going to make sure that our positive messages are portrayed and no one can just post anything, just any crazy stuff up there? Because I go on TikTok and Facebook and some of these other social media platforms, and I see us really being highlighted in a negative way.
Right. Well, the easy answer for that is algorithms. You can have it set so that it's triggered when certain words are used and, certain trending issues or dances. Because, of course, when you create a video, you have to tag it with certain words and things. So algorithms can pick up on some of that. But Michael has assembled a team that will watch and monitor closely so that if there's anything that's posted that shouldn't be, I'm not saying that it's going to be instantly taken down that exact minute, but we'll catch it and we'll take it down if it's something that's demeaning to our community.
Can you explain to us a little bit about having, explain about what, having our own nation in cyberspace, what this means for us of the African descent?
Actually, I'm sorry.
So
Actually,
it says, I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you get the question?
yes. Actually,
Okay.
it's power, okay? Because when you look at it like this, okay, we make up probably half or more than half of social media users, and we also spend a lot of money online and on social media and other things, but that money does not stay in our community at all. Okay, with
Okay.
our Black Truth, not only do we plan on being the gateway to the Black community, but take some of that money and put it back into our community to build. Who's going to do that? What other company is going to do that for our community? And the answer is none, just us.
All right. Well, yeah. So, and while we talk and while we ask the questions, I want to ask our producer to kind of let in my co-host. My co-host is waiting in the waiting room to be let in. If you can let in our co-host, the Invisible Man, because we're missing our Invisible Man right now, who's the host for this show. So hopefully you'll get to meet our co-hosts. And now, questions I have now. Do you guys? Is it possible to show how this all works and some of and talk more about some of the benefits? Is it possible to show that?
Well, I can't show it on screen, but what I can tell you is that it has a lot of features that are similar to Facebook because we wanted to make sure that it's something that people would be accustomed to. You don't want to take it and create something that is so different that it alienates people because now this is something that they are not used to. But the features is that, a part of the features is that, like, for example, each video is going to have a tip button on each piece of content that you post. There will be a tip button. Also, when you make a comment, there will be a tip button because people exchange information and ideas in the comment section. How many times have people asked you a question and you answer it right in the comment section? So we're creating a new ecosystem so that people can easily make money and have access to information pertaining to us.
Now, you said that tip button. Explain that tip button a little bit more.
Okay. How it works is anything that you post will have a tip button. And once you have your account set up. If anyone leaves you any tips on your video, you can choose to have it put into a account or onto a credit card that we have, a Our Black Truth credit card, like credit debit card, and it will deposit that money right onto that card. So any tips you get go straight to that card and you can spend it.
So that means we can make money if people tip us. So that's how we can make money. So, I mean, now does Facebook work the same way as far as a tip button?
No.
Oh, sorry. My phone started calling on things. Sorry about that. So then it kicked you off, and I don't know how that happened. So Facebook doesn't have it. So we can make money by going on and utilizing your site.
Absolutely, because we wanted to create a way to make it easy and accessible for our people to make money. Like, for example, if you post anything on YouTube, you have to have a certain amount of subscribers. You got to have a certain amount of watch hours. So if you post your first video and it goes viral, you get nothing for it. But for us, we have it so that from day one, whatever you post, let's say that you don't post any videos. Let's say that you just respond and post comments. There will be a tip button next to each comment. So if someone finds what you said valuable or entertaining, they can tip you and you can make money.
Oh, I like that, because I think this is a great way to really get people on your site. Because I mean, I didn't know that feature was there. So now, when is this actually going to launch? Because I'm excited about this coming to the public and people having access to our Black truth.
Actually, we have done a soft launch already. So if you go to the Google Play Store or the iTunes Apple Store, the app is there. Now, we also have a progressive web app so that if you go to ourbblacktruth.com, you can install it right there and you won't have any issues.
All right. Now, this is a live show, so I want to make sure we get the call-in number up so people can call in. Remember, you can call in, ask questions about Our Black Truth and the social media platform, this new social media platform that is built by us, for the true information. I love the name, Our Black Truth. Now, as you know, some countries around the world have banned YouTube because of its content. Now, will you censorship and post Our Black Truth, and will that occur? And if so, what would be the reason?
Well, we will have censorship on some level, but we're not going to censor positive things. You have websites and applications that are censoring positive stuff. We'll only, censor it if people are degrading women and, doing all the normal things that people have become accustomed to. We will block that. Twerking, anything that's overly sexualized, abusive language, like on a very high level, those things we will block, because this is about our community being better. This is about seeing a better side of our community. We've seen all the bad things. We've seen all the bad videos. We've seen all the videos go viral of us acting like fools. Now it's time to stop that, curb that, and rebuild our profile on social media as a people.
Now, has the explosion of technology reduced people, to not really communicate in person and to become dependent on their electronic devices?
Absolutely. Something funny was I was talking to someone who was 21 years old, and the conversation came up about meeting girls, and and I told him that when I was coming up that you would just walk up to a girl, and he said, "You had to meet girls outside?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what if the girl didn't like you?" I said, "Well, that was just a part of being a man and learning how to deal with people." And he said, "Oh no." He said, "I like social media way better because it's kind of, if they like you, you can kind of have a soft intro versus just having communication skills."
Well, it's so funny. I've seen. I have young ones. I won't say little ones. My youngest is now 21, but they literally be in the same room, texting each other. So it's, and their social media, their social interaction skills are very limited now. So it's like, I'm hoping that we can teach them how to be a little more creative in how they talk to each other because they have no social interaction skills. Now, I just want to ask, explain to us the social media infrastructure and how does it work? Can you explain that to us?
Well, as far as the social media infrastructure, all social media is similar, and it has to be so that people can use it and know how to. You don't want to overcomplicate it. But for us, it's about information. So we have two sides. When you go to the Our Black Truth app, there are two sides. One side says video archive, and that's the side that's going to have the educational videos. Now, keep in mind, not just anyone can post on the video archive side. Your videos have to be approved and they have to be verified by us before they are posted. Then we have the social media side, which is similar to like what Facebook would be, where you can go on there and meet people and post things and learn different things and just have fun, post memes or whatever it is that people normally do on social media, communicate with family and friends.
Okay, so tell me what are some of the big differences between Our Black Truth and Facebook? What are some of the, so why would I want to come to your site? And what are some of the differences?
Okay, well, some of the differences is that number one, you're not going to get blocked for saying something positive about Black people. That's a major plus. Number two, we actually care about the Black community. I'm not saying that Facebook doesn't, but we're Black, so of course we have our interests at heart. Also, our tipping capabilities. Also, speaking of the tipping capabilities, on the progressive web app, when you go to ourbblacktruth.com, that's the only one that we have set up so far that we have tipping enabled. Because if you go to the iTunes App Store, or if you go to the Google Play App Store, they want 30% of your profits across the board just for getting it from there. So we created a way around that by creating a progressive web app that if you go to ourbblacktruth.com and you install the progressive web app, then you'll have tipping enabled and it's not going to make you lose that 30% off the top.
Okay, wonderful. So now you talked a lot about Michael. Tell me who are you really? What do you do? Because you haven't said anything about yourself.
Okay, well, again, it has to start off with Michael because that's my older brother. He got me started in technology back in the 90s. He actually forced me to get into technology, which I'm glad he did. And then I started working for multiple tech companies. Michael trained me himself and taught me about infrastructure and about networks. And so then after that, he left and went on and started doing greater things. So I just started working for multiple companies and started learning about network infrastructure, started working for different companies that are in different technologies, whether it's fiber optics, whether it's point-to-point service, whether it's signals coming off a geosynchronous satellite, just different things about it. And that helped me to actually start learning what we're currently doing now. And I also worked for a company where I supported all the top 10 apps. And that was a very good learning experience for what we're doing now.
Now, how easy is it for someone to do what you guys have done?
It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Typically, it would take a very large team of people to do it. But fortunately, God has given us all of the abilities that we can multitask and do different tasks that other people would do, but we can do it ourselves. But it's definitely not easy.
And how long have you been working on this? Because I heard something similar about this, maybe 5 years ago coming to the forefront. So how long have you guys been working on this? How long did it actually take you from the starting process to now the launch and getting ready to push it out there?
Well, we multitask. So we've been working on several different projects over the course of, let's say, the last 3 going into our 4th year. So we have it so that when it does take off, we're not just a one-trick pony. Most companies are just one-trick ponies. You see Facebook, you got Facebook, and the only other option is to try to buy other companies. But we have lots of different ideas and companies that we have formed that are just waiting in the wings, kind of, so that once this takes off, we can start following up with other companies and projects that we own also. So I would say about the last 3 years.
Okay, so that's not too long actually to come to realization and fruition to now to have a platform similar to Facebook and really be for us. So let me ask. I want to get back to that money part now. How do, like, I'm on there now. I'm signed up. How do I go and start? How do I put my information in to be tipped and start putting posts up so that people can tip me? Because I want to start making money on this right now.
Well, it depends on where you actually got that app from, whether you got it from the App Store or whether you just went to ourblacktruth.com, which is the progressive web app. The progressive web app is the only one that has tipping enabled.
Ah, okay, that's why. Because I went to your website, signed up, and have my profile and everything up there, so I can't get tipped yet, right?
Well, if you went to the site and did not go to the Google Play Store or to iTunes, if you went straight to the site, as soon as you sign in, if you post something, you should see a $ next to it. If you post a video, or if you go under someone's comment, someone's video and post a comment, that's what you should see.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do that again with me because I didn't see that little money sign yet, and I want that money sign to show up because I have lots of educational videos to share with people, especially about the continent. Because one of the things with American Africans United, we want to start reconnecting our individuals to the motherland and giving them that information of what it is like to visit, be there, and really dispel a lot of the myths around what the continent has to offer. Because the continent of Africa, the motherland, is amazing. So I have lots of stuff to put on about that, but let me not talk more about that. Now tell me, one of the things I want to now break down, what is African center curriculum, and how is it going to be apparent on this new platform?
Well, there's going to be information. There is so much information about our people that is not taught in school. I'm not going to say on purpose. There's so much information that's out there about us. And Michael has worked for years and years studying African American history, African history, and learning about things. Like, for example, most people don't know that the richest person in history was Mansa Musa. He was African. And
Yes.
this information that we're going to have made available for people that want to know more about African American culture and African culture, stuff that you will not get taught in school. In school, they teach us about Harriet Tubman. They teach us about Dr. King. They teach us about the Civil Rights Movement. And they most certainly love to teach us that we were slaves. And guess what? That's just not true. There's so much more to our history than that. So we're working to change that narrative.
Well, that's great, and I'm going to connect you with someone who's building a museum in Africa. They're doing
Oh,
it's going to be a virtual as well as a physical museum eventually, but right now virtual. And his name is Kojo Yanka, who is amazing. He's honorable Kojo Yanka, I have to say, because maybe he might be watching our show. If you are out there, I'm going to make sure you're connected because he actually is getting ready to do a whole history, a museum of history and of historical history of the continent, which hasn't been shared. And our stories have not been told. So I think this would be a great connection and way that we can link up and get some of the history directly from the continent. And so,
yeah.
do you guys have educators working with you to bring in this information, or if you don't, how can someone, if they want to get involved to help with the content, how can they do so?
Well, we have board members. We have at least 25 PhDs. So we definitely have educated people, but we welcome people. And if anyone wants to contact us on ourblacktruth.com, at the bottom, we do have a contact us page. You can fill that out and reach out to us. And we welcome anyone that wants to help.
All right. Well, because I have a lot of stuff to give you on just Africa. because that is, I am so passionate about it, and and I want you to travel there with me so that you can step your foot into the motherland and feel the experience of what it is like. So now will this new platform help us bridge the digital divide that's here in this country, as well as between the majority and the minority, bridge?
Absolutely. That's something that we'll definitely talk about further, in the future once things get launched good, and then we can start um, looking at how we can allocate funds to start helping people that may not necessarily have access to technology, or may not have access to laptops and tablets and things. But of course, that stuff takes money, and that is a part of our future plans to help bridge that gap, because there's a lot of talented people out there that just need a little bit of help, and that's what our goal is to help people.
Now, I know that there's a lot of educational videos on there. So, can this new platform actually be used to educate ourselves in a way that, in the way that other platforms don't have that? And can you explain how?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, other platforms don't have anything, any type of educational information pertaining
Yes.
to us that's associated with social media. Most social media platforms is just something that people, a place where people go to waste time. Okay, now for us,
Yeah.
we're gathering all this information, not just so that people can educate themselves personally, but so that institutions can also look at these videos and use them so that they can educate children and other people, teenagers and things.
So, is this platform going to be a platform we can utilize in school for, because right now a lot of schools, and there's around the country since the pandemic, they're thinking about just going virtual and having virtual schools within the public school system. So, how can we, is this going to be utilized, or can it be utilized in that form?
Absolutely. We'll make as much information available to any institutions. They can just contact us, and we'll help them, and we'll package it in a way, whatever they need it, or whatever format they are accustomed to. We'll package it
Okay.
up for them so that they can use it. But absolutely, they can stream straight from our site and teach people. Actually, there was a school in Chicago where
Mhm.
we went, where Michael had they had showed a viewing of this documentary he did called Who Am I? And it was about who we are as a people. And the kids loved it. There were kids, I don't know, from ages, let's say 7 to about 13. They absolutely loved it. They sat there, they watched the entire thing, and they were fascinated. And we had questions and answers afterwards. And a lot of them were saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know all this stuff about us, because they only teach us that we were slaves and that Rosa Parks wouldn't move to the back of the bus. So when they started, seeing these videos and started learning more about us, you could see how they had pride and they felt good after watching that. So it's our goal to share all this information with our community and with the entire world.
Well, we have a caller online. So, caller, can you please state your name, where your first name, where you're calling from, your question, please?
Okay, my name is Mr. Perry Jesse. I'm calling from Maryland, Silver Spring area.
Yes, sir.
And my question is, as the gentleman was talking about our truth, I went to the website to try to join the Black Truth Social, and there was a question that they have there, which I think should be flexible, because it says, what superhero did Chadwick Boseman play? And I want to understand why at the website there was a specific question as a security question to be placed at the social, to be part of the social. If so, like right now, I don't know what even that guy. So how should somebody join their social platform if that specific hero He doesn't know anything about the hero.
Okay, let me make sure that I'm understanding this. You said you went to ourblacktruth.com and that there was a question about Chadwick Boseman? Hello?
I think we lost the caller. I think that's what the caller was saying. They went on and tried to log on, and I guess there was a security question, and the security question was, what superhero did Chadwick on Boswick play or Bosman play?
I'm not aware of anything like that being on our site.
Okay.
I'm just hoping that he went to the correct site. When you signed up, did you get anything like that?
No, I didn't get anything like that. So, but I got a link from someone who sent me a link to go to the website. So I got a direct link to the website. So your website is ourblacktruth.com, correct?
Right, and you can download the Progressive Web app just by going to www.ourblacktruth.com, or if you want to go to iTunes or the Google Play Store, you can go there also. But the only one that has tip enabled is going to the Progressive Web app, which is www.ourblacktruth.com.
All right. So because after this call, I'm gonna go and look to see if my little tip app is there, so I can start posting some stuff up. Now, is there a cost for other people to utilize the site? Is there a cost to this at all?
Oh no, you can log on free. There's no cost, there's no expense associated with it.
Oh, okay. So if there's no cost, how do you guys make your money on the back end?
Well, Michael is probably more qualified to answer that question, but I'm sure just like any other social media platforms will have ads and other things like that. But we definitely do not sell your information, because most companies, you are the product. Okay, what I mean by that is you, the user, your information, that's the product. They gather your information and they sell it. And we're not going to do that. So Michael is most certainly more better qualified to answer that question, since he built that part of the infrastructure.
Okay, so we can probably put advertisements on, because I can do some of that too, so we can get get our stuff out there. So tell me, discuss your competition and how existing tech firms have tried to capture our youth by offering them training and potential employment and entice them to participate. And for this, for what's going on right now, and actually further white supremacy in the digital age.
Well, in the digital age, we're really not a part of it. I think we're under 5%, maybe 4%, that are actually in tech. And let's not even talk about ownership in tech. It's even lower. So we are such a minute number that in the overall global scheme of things, we don't even exist in tech.
And also, that is so true. And I'm hoping that more people, I hope some of our young people out there viewing this today to really consider thinking about going into tech and realizing that we need to be in that field, in that space as well, to hopefully, they say, equalize the playing field. But tell me, now the platform is dedicated to social justice, right? And how will you accomplish a sounding the alarm for those affected negatively?
Well, that's all based in information, because people need to be able to have access to information. Because sometimes when you get that information, or if someone is right on site when something happens and they post it, guess what? When you're logging on to someone else's company, it's a private company. If they don't want it up there, they can block it. But with us, we're not. So if something happens and someone captures it and they post it, we're going to leave it up there. Of course, we're not going to let someone post something that's extremely graphic, that's harmful to children,
Yes.
To watch. But we'll most certainly make sure that information is easily and, available.
Now, what was your decision for really launching this platform? And was it a call to arouse what we call the sleeping black masses? Because with everything that's been happening, and information that has been filtered within our communities has been very censored. So, what was your decision to really launch this platform?
Well, actually, other people. We would go on social media and we'd see people say, "Hey guys, I just posted this, but it got blocked." And then you go and you're searching for certain things and you see another post, "Hey guys, I did post this, but it got taken down." "Hey guys, I got blocked again." "Hey guys, it's me, I got blocked again." "Hey, I posted this about Black history, I got blocked again." So we said, wow, this seems to be happening a lot, that information pertaining to us. And I'm not talking about information that is explicit or anything like that, because I noticed that anything that makes us look like fools is always allowed. That's allowed on any platform. Okay. But if it's anything that's educational on lots of different sites, it gets blocked. So we're going to make sure that that stops happening. So I would say that the main motivation was just watching videos and seeing other people complain about being blocked. And plus, it's just time for us to have some ownership. I mean, name any Black social media uh, companies in the top 20. Name any that are in the top 10 apps. Name any that are in the top 5 apps. I challenge anyone to name any Black owners. Guess what? There are none. So we want to change that and build something for our people and start giving back to our community, because we give so much of our time and money to other communities that may not necessarily have our best interests in heart or may not respect us.
I want to jump in, ask a question.
Do we have our invisible man here?
I'm trying to. I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Welcome,
Okay.
welcome. We were
Yeah, I
looking for
was
you.
late.
So
Oh, I wanted to apologize for the last show. I was rude to the guest, and I just want the audience to know that I was in error, and I'm man enough to apologize, and it won't happen again.
Much respect, sir. Much respect.
Yeah. But my question is, it sounds like you're saying, and I think as I was looking at your material, something about having our own nation in cyberspace. Was that question asked? Is that what you're alluding to?
Yes, sir.
Could you elaborate on that, please?
Well, it's just that at this current time, um, I don't want to take shots at the other social media platforms, but you can guess that they're not putting any money into our community
Yes.
and care about our interests and block our videos. So we have created a place where we can talk about our own issues, our own community, and not be censored, not get blocked. And in addition to that, we're creating a ecosystem where people can start making money easily. Because guess what? On Facebook, people aren't making money.
Yes,
And to any other platform, you got to have a certain amount of subscribers, watch hours, videos, posts, everything else. And you know what? Not everyone has time to wait 12 months or 24 months before they can start making money. And most certainly, no other social media platforms has a video archive about our history for us.
So I get the
yeah, and
I get the point now about the Cybernation. One quick question.
Mhm.
In reviewing your material, I picked up this phrase. It says, "If you're silent, you're guilty. You cannot excuse behavior that is filthy." And so, what does that mean?
It means that when you see things happen, and I'm not just talking about Black people, I'm talking about anyone of any race, you have to speak up on it, because if you don't speak up, it's going to keep happening, because people are hoping that you suffer in silence. Nothing would make people happier than to let you step on their neck and you not say anything. Then they'll spin it around and twist it and say, hey, he enjoyed it. He never spoke up on it, so we're not going to stop. Or the other people say, I didn't know that's happening. I didn't know. No one said nothing. So, hey, let's just go business as usual. So you have to speak up so that you can be heard. And until we speak up as a people, we'll never be heard.
Thank you, Dr. Butler.
thank you and
And thank you
welcome
for
back. Can we put up that the website again to show what the when you enter on the website? Can we put that up one more time again? Our Black Truth, because I want to just say something about that first tagline. Audience, please finally, we have our own platform that we control. And I've been here. It's amazing. And, you know, and I want people to know, the audience out there, that you can go on, and there's amazing amount of videos and archives on here that you can see. And I've been on here, and there was one that I want to show, but unfortunately it's not on YouTube right now, so we couldn't show it. But I highly recommend that for all of our audience out there, go to ourblacktruth.com. Please sign up, but please check out some of the videos. And the video that Mr. Thompson was talking about are Who Am I? That was one I wanted to show you guys, and I do recommend going to see that video. That was one of the videos we wanted to show. It is on Our Black Truth. Who Am I? It's an amazing, amazing video for all of our young people out there and adults to really watch and find out, who am I? You'll learn so much history from just looking at that video. So I won't go into that anymore, but I want everyone to please look it up. And Mr. Thompson, tell me, do you subscribe to the philosophy of Marcus Garvey? And how does it cause you to act in a business situation?
Which one are you speaking of specifically? Because he had several different philosophies.
Oh, with his business philosophy. Because remember, Marcus Garvey, Black Star, and people don't realize it. The Black Star also is the reason why they have the Black Star. Ghana is, the reason why Ghana has a Black Star. So
Africans already been here in America. It does not take rocket science to figure out. People are treating this like it's some kind of new history, right? It's nothing new to us. African people have been all over the planet.
Having a black skin does not necessarily mean that you have a black behavior or you're doing things in the best interest of black people.
But you got to teach history the way history is meant to be taught. So if you're going to tell a people's story, tell about their greatness, not just how you defeated them.
The riot started, and people died, fires were started. It just turned into a little war in the black community. Something like the whites were just waiting to let go of this energy.
This is what people need to know. Because you got to ask yourself, what happened to all the wealth? What happened to all the jewelry, the valuables, right? So they call the National Guardian. The National Guardian removes all the people, from the inhabitants from the community. Then this mob of people rush into Black Wall Street, rush into historic Greenwood District, and loot all the houses. They loot them of their furs, their automobiles, their jewelry, their furniture, everything. After that, then you come in. You have 6 airplanes to take to the sky. And you bomb this place. You burn it to the ground.
And some of these chiefs voluntarily gave them men. And some of these men the chiefs had were people they captured from villages fighting other villages. And we were told those people were sold to this white man.
Everything that makes up who we are is coming from a white perspective. Black people in America try to assimilate so totally that they have kind of lost themselves.
We identified with Jesus, the true Christ of the Bible, and we held on to Christ, and we shunned and rejected the trappings of white slave masters who tried to use the Bible, and sometimes successfully did, to keep us oppressed. We rejected that. And some of it shows up in the spirituals. We sing, I got shoes, you got shoes, all of God's children got shoes. When I get to heaven, I'm gonna put on my shoes and gonna shout all over God's heaven. Heaven, then it said, everybody talking about heaven ain't going there. Heaven gonna shout all over God's heaven. And that was the message about white slave owners who believed that God justified them in enslaving non-white people, African people, or people of color. We said, you can talk that Bible all you want, but everybody talking about heaven ain't going there.
Welcome back, and I'm so glad we were able to get the video to play, because that's one of the videos I did want to show you as well. So that is Our Black Truth, and it's an amazing channel that I recommend that everyone, if you haven't gone on, to please go on. Now, Mr. Thompson, there's a few of the questions we wanted to ask. Now, my invisible man, did you have any of the questions you wanted to ask before I just dive right in? We'll be wrapping it up, because we know we don't want to keep you all day.
I just wanted to point out that the last person speaking on the videotape, the good doctor, Dr. McCrae.
Yes, sir.
I used to work with him.
Stop playing.
In Chicago. No. When I saw it, I told Dr. Butler this earlier, and it was exactly 20 years ago. I walked into the House of Daniel on the west side of Chicago, and I saw the planes going into the Twin Towers, and Dr. McCrae was in the office crying because he could see the far-reaching effect of what that would do. And 20 years later, we are still involved in a conflict. And you see, that goes to show you that great people are, they in connection. So when I saw him and I see you, I already know what's going on. Y'all for real. That's all I can say. I don't have no questions.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. He's actually one of our board members, and we have got to have both of you meet again sometime soon, hopefully.
Sure. I'm a Chicago boy.
Oh, wow. That is our Chicago. That's our city, man. We absolutely love Chicago.
Yes, sir.
A lot of great people there, and thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, because everything happens at the right time. So the group that you're making, I just hope that we as a people can support you.
Absolutely. I think so. I think people will.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Thompson, we have our videos ready to go. So there was another video that I wanted to show, the one that Who Am I? Can we show that really quickly? Because it's so touching for me. Do you mind if we show that very quickly to the audience?
No, play it, please.
Who am I is a question that resonates throughout generations of people whose truth is hidden in a dark, closed space. Trying hard to awaken, but ignorance tries to stick to the soles of our feet. Gatekeepers whitewash atrocities while assuring people that look like them that it's okay to go back to sleep. But sleep is the cousin of death, unless it's being used to replenish before battle. We grab the hands of our brothers and sisters in hopes of making an unbreakable chain, with the goal of ascending into the heavens, but many fight to be let go as they fall back into darkness because of self-disdain. We must dissolve the attitude of, it don't matter cause I'm getting mine, peddling poison to the youth through entertainment, which disconnects them from the divine. Unaware that the book of remembrance remembers us, but we're unable to retain this knowledge because the negative imagery we create and the self-destructive songs we sing corrupts our spiritual intellect, like sitting a hard drive next to a powerful magnet. We're like crabs in a technological barrel, being crushed by the digital divide, ignoring the warnings right before our eyes. People as a whole are blind and mute, because when injustice doesn't affect you, why dispute? It isn't a color thing, it's a people thing. We must all stand together. So if you're silent, you're guilty. If you're silent, you're guilty. So if you're silent, you're guilty. You can't excuse behavior that is filthy. If you're silent, you're guilty. So if you're silent, you're guilty. If you're silent, you're guilty. And with this guilt, there's blood on your hands when it's spilled. No longer can any of you afford to stay silent. The hate is among us and it's growing just like a fungus. It started off bad, but now the bad is even worse. And when you mention racism, they say you're using it in reverse. It shouldn't be about color, cause we're the human race. It then got so bad that aliens staying out of space, they might catch a case. Political is not spittable. Everyone's out for self, but only 1% has the real wealth. We're cheering for our
Well, that's a very powerful video, and the names at the end. And I do recommend people going and watch that and watch the full video, because it's heartbreaking to see all the names. You can keep go on and on about the people of color, Black folks who have been just killed. There was a question that came into the chat, and this is a question that they had, and it says, who powers your platform? And is it Google or some other entity?
To be perfectly honest, since I don't work on the back end infrastructure, I'm not sure, but everyone goes across the same network. If you think that there's going to be a private individual network for any one company, impossible. Everyone goes across the same infrastructure. I work on the fiber optic infrastructure for all the communication in this country. And guess what? It's all on the same network. It's just packaged up differently, but it rides the same network, the same fiber optic cables.
Oh, now another question came in. Now, do you guys have live stream?
We don't have live streaming yet, but we are working to bring that to the platform.
Okay, because that would be great if you have live stream, but you have to make sure you censor it somehow, the live stream, because you can put a lot on there. So live stream's not available yet, but hopefully something like that would be. And I'm trying to see, Invisible Man, you had a question there, and I'm looking in the chat.
I wanted to make a comment. Maybe it's an old question. An old answer. But okay. I was taught in J school, which is journalism school, that the airways belong to the people. So the format may have changed, but it's still the people who supposedly own it. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely, and I hear you, and that sounds great. If we truly owned it, we could keep it from being shut down. If the powers that be wanted to shut it down, fiber optic is just the press of a button, and no one can see or hear anything.
Yes, sir. Well, that leads me to this question. Mm-hmm. With the explosion of technology, mm-hmm. has really reduced people to the place where they're really not communicating in person anymore, but they're becoming dependent on their devices. And as you just said, what happens if someone shuts us off? We won't be able to communicate at all.
You are correct. And if they did, there would be no one left except for our generation, those who grew up without social media. We would be fine. Anyone who came before that, they would be struggling really bad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's why, I'm hoping to get these young people to use social media as a tool, but make sure they don't depend on and rely on it. Most of them have never seen a real telephone. They used to hang on the walls. So, and I still have a push button and a little dial one that I keep just to show that this is what telephones used to be like. And this is how we used to have to communicate in our days growing up. So I want to ask you just a few quick questions. And now, how do we drive people to your site? How do we get people to, and what are you doing? And how can we help to get more information out about our Black truth? And this is one of the reasons why I wanted you on tonight, because I really want to get our Black truth out there to other folks who don't know about it and help them spread the good news that's coming.
Well, we are coming up with different marketing campaigns and things so that we can help get it out there. And I'm hoping that once it catches on, that the youth, that they'll kind of run with it. One thing that I love about this new generation, let me tell you something. They are passionate, and if something is wrong, they will stand up for it. They will march. They'll do whatever's needed to make a point. So that's one thing that I absolutely love about this young generation. And we hope that this platform serves them well, which is why we focus more on not bringing live to the platform yet, but figuring out a infrastructure where people can start making money. Because if you can put money into people's pockets, that's power. So, but live is coming shortly after. But I'm hoping that this young generation do what they do, which is fight peacefully for justice.
And so how can we help get some of the more message out? But besides just doing this show tonight, how can we help get people to come, to drive them to be part of our Black truth? And I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you honestly what I did, my whole staff. I said, hey, you got to get online. Share with a friend, family, but join. So actually, my staff is all gone on, and most of them are probably watching tonight because I said I want you to watch and make sure you join on and tell another friend to really become part of our Black Truth. How can we help and to push the envelope for this amazing, amazing website or platform, and just it's great. I love it.
Well, we're hoping that everyone takes pride in it, because this is the first time that there's a social media platform for us who cares about us, and that's going to keep money in our community. Because even when this takes off, we're not going to just sell it to the highest bidder. That's not going to happen. We all have already agreed, because we've seen other people create other companies, and they say, hey, we're Black, sign up. Everyone signs up. And then once it reaches that $1 billion status, they just sell it to the highest bidder. We are not going to do that. We have pride. We love our people, and we're hoping that everyone has pride in our platform and start spreading it by word of mouth. If we can get people to just spread it and just sign up and just have pride in it, people, this is ours. It's not just mine. It's not just yours. This is for all of us. And it's about time that we demand our space in cyberspace, because we have no space. We have no ownership. We have nothing. And it's time for that to change with our Black Truth.
And so I have a comment also in the chat. They're saying, please secure your platform now. Because if you're using Google, they will eventually control all the content.
Absolutely.
So
thank you.
So please
we'll
secure your.
I mean, we have everything planned out, but we always make it a point to listen to what people say. So acknowledged and thank you.
Yeah, so secure that. And actually, that's another young man who I want to introduce you to. I think we'll put that comment. Dr. Joseph Silver, he's an amazing historian that if you're not already familiar with who he is, I would definitely want you to connect with him. He's also part of the Africa Project for the African American or the African Museum that they're creating that should be launching I think, the end of this year. So I would really like to connect you with him as well. He's a historian, an educator, and was a former dean. And I wouldn't go into he has a 2-page just what he's done, but he's been a dean of multiple universities throughout the South and, at colleges. And so I don't want to go into his whole history, but it's with Silvers and Associates. I want to connect you with them as well. So that just, because when we start connecting its power. And there's so much history that we have shared amongst us. And if we don't start sharing those histories and writing our own stories, because remember, history is really his story. So we need to start creating, as you said, our Black truth, our stories. So he's one who has amazing history right here in the United States. You don't have to go over to Ghana to get him, but he's right here. But remember, now with social media, we're just a phone call away, or actually a Zoom call away now, to really connect with our partners across the globe. So I don't want to take much more time because I know we have to close up, but can you give us any, my invisible man, since you just got on, is there any comments or questions you want to ask before I ask Mr. Thomas to make some lasting comments, then tell everybody about next week?
I just wanted to reiterate, I'm out of the invisible jail for my bad behavior, and it won't happen again. Thank you, Dr. Butler, for unlocking the door. But Mr. Thompson, I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you're doing, and I'm sure, and you said the best method of advertising is word of mouth.
Yes, sir.
We do relate to one another, but the pandemic has kind of slowed it down. So let's hope that people speak up about your project and that it becomes the most popular project in our community, because it should be.
Oh, yes.
We need our own cyberspace nation.
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
And it's funny because to add on to that statement, we set trends. We are trendsetters. People follow whatever we do. People imitate us, emulate us, copy us throughout the entire globe. So we can make this happen. And I'm hoping that everyone just takes some pride in it and know that this is for us. We're not going to sell it to the highest bidder. This is for you. You should have your own place in cyberspace where you can be respected, loved, and educated. And that is ourbblacktruth.com.
Yes, sir.
And on that note, I want to thank you so much for especially coming on at such a short notice. Unfortunately, your brother, I know, had an emergency that he had to go off to, and so his better half just jumped right in. And I want to thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for coming on and being our guest tonight. We're going to do whatever we can to get the word out, and I'm gonna tell you, word of mouth. I'm gonna be doing more than word of mouth. I'm gonna put it out there as soon as I want to put it on my website and put also. Go to this, have people join. So I'm gonna have a link from my website to you so that people will start coming on, looking, investigate, and get involved. Because our Black truth, as Mr. Thomas has said, is for us. And we need to take advantage of that. We need to unify, and we need to wrap around these young brothers who have started a movement for us to have our own our own nation in the cyber world. So I am really, really excited about that. And without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little about our next guest. I want to tell you and thank everyone for coming on again today. And sorry for the lateness. And I want to thank all of our folks who are on all the various platforms for all the questions that have been coming in. And one thing we know, this show is for you. We're here to bring you information about unity and how we can start working together, as well as bring information of just what we did now, our Black truth, of what young Black men and women are out there doing to really give us a voice, to give us the opportunity to create our stories. And so that's so important to do. So as you know, we're here every Friday. We have a special guest. Next Friday, we will be having Malik Shabazz on. Malik Shabazz will be on, and he is the author of the Book of Khalid. So I know that people are like, I know you're excited about seeing it. And so next Friday, we will definitely have Malik Shabazz here with us, and he will talk to you all about the Book of Khalid. And if you haven't been able to get a copy, please get a copy. It's an unbelievable story of a powerful man who was taken away at such a young age, only 53. So please, I recommend that if you haven't been able to get a copy of the Book of Khalid, please get it. We will be having Malik Shabazz next Friday here from the voice of AAU. And thank you again from your host, Dr. Yvette Butler, your BOA, and
the Invisible Man.
Thank you, and see you next week.